Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something, a hidden factor that can absolutely tank a property's value, even when it looks picture perfect.
So let's kick things off with a little puzzle. You see this building, right? It looks amazing. It's solid, no cracks, no leaks. I mean, it's in perfect physical shape. But nobody's buying. Why? Well, the answer often comes down to this one little concept: functional obsolescence. All right, so let's get into it. What is this invisible value killer? It's not about the stuff you can easily see, like wear and tear.
Okay, so here's the absolute key. We're not talking about physical problems, right? This isn't about a leaky roof or paint that's peeling off the walls. No, functional obsolescence is all about a mismatch. It's this gap between what the property has and what people in the market today actually want and expect.
So what's really cool is we can break this whole idea down into three main categories, three hidden flaws. And once you see them, it all starts to make a lot more sense. Let's dive into the first one. First up, we have what's called a deficiency. And it's pretty simple, really. It just means something is, well, missing. Something the market now pretty much considers standard. You know, like a giant, beautiful 5-bedroom house that somehow only has one bathroom. Yeah, that's a big deficiency. Okay, number two is all about needing a modernization. This is where you have stuff that's there, it works, but it's just outdated. It's not efficient or desirable anymore. Think about ancient wiring that can't handle all of our modern gadgets, or maybe one of those really awkward, choppy floor plans from decades ago, when everyone today is looking for that big, open concept feel. It just doesn't work anymore.
All right, and the third one. This is my favorite because it's so counterintuitive. It's called superadequacy. And yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's when a feature is too much. It's too elaborate, too expensive, just over the top for what the market actually wants or is willing to pay for. It's basically an over-improvement.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Not every peso spent by the owner creates an equal peso of market value. I mean, that's the core of superadequacy right there. Just because you went out and spent a fortune on gold-plated faucets for a regular family home doesn't mean a buyer is going to give you that money back. The market, not you, decides what that upgrade is worth. And sometimes your improvement can actually hurt the value.
So, okay, this all leads to the big practical question, right? The billion peso question. Can you even fix these things? Well, this is where appraisers have to draw a really important line. And that line is drawn between what's considered curable versus what's incurable. It really just boils down to economics, plain and simple. Is it financially smart to fix it? If yes, it's curable. If the fix is going to cost you more than the value you get back, well, then it's incurable. So when is a flaw curable? Well, a couple of things have to be true. The fix has to be possible, obviously. But the big rule, the one that matters most, is financial. The cost to fix the problem has to be less than or equal to the value that fix adds. That 5-bedroom house we talked about, adding a second bathroom is the perfect example. The value you'd add to the house is almost certainly going to be more than what it costs to build it. On the flip side, you've got incurable flaws. This is when the fix is just totally impractical, maybe even impossible. The key rule here is that the cost to cure is way more than the value you'd add. Often, this is because the defect is baked into the very structure of the building. Think about that warehouse with low ceilings. You can't just raise the roof, not without spending a fortune. So those low ceilings are an incurable flaw, and that loss in value, it's pretty much permanent.
Okay, so this all sounds a bit abstract, right? How do people in the real world, how do appraisers actually put a number on this? It seems complicated, and yeah, the techniques can be, but the basic logic behind it is actually pretty straightforward.
So here's how an appraiser thinks about it. First, they pinpoint the exact flaw. Is it the layout, the old wiring, what is it? Then step two, they decide, is this curable or incurable? If it's curable, the math is pretty easy. The loss in value is just the cost to cure, what it'll take to fix it. But if it's incurable, especially for a commercial building, they have to get a little more creative. The loss is then measured by the value of lost income, basically how much rent you're losing over time because of that unfixable flaw.
All right, let's bring it all home with the key takeaways, the big things you really need to remember. And probably the most important thing to start with is not to get this confused with other ways a property can lose value.
This table here is perfect for seeing the difference. You've got three main types of depreciation. Physical deterioration. That's the easy one. It's just wear and tear. Peeling paint, a worn-out roof. Then you have external obsolescence, which is a problem outside the property lines. A new, noisy highway built right next door? You can't control that. But functional obsolescence, what we've been talking about, is always an internal problem. It's a flaw in the building's design, its layout, or its utility.
So here's your final checklist. At the end of the day, remember that value is so much more than just physical condition. It's about function. And these flaws can be anything, something missing, something outdated, or even, as we saw, something that's way too excessive. A flaw is only curable if it makes good old-fashioned economic sense to fix it. And the ultimate test is always this: can a buyer or a renter get the same use, the same utility, better and more easily somewhere else? That's the question that really matters.
So, next time you walk through a property, I bet you'll see it differently. Now that you know about functional obsolescence, you've got this new set of eyes, a new lens to see beyond just the fresh paint and nice staging. You'll be able to spot the hidden flaws, the things that really determine a building's true value.